to vote today? How many of y'all went out to vote today?
I did.
Whose idea?
Miss Loretta.
Miss Loretta. Ding, 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 ding. She gets the. Anybody else? Anybody else? Well, Miss Loretta, you get
My boss wouldn't let me off work to go vote.
So I get the prize. I want my prize.
You get the 5-star prize of the week, and that is a swag bag with, get this, a question mark, because nobody knows what's in it, not even me. So you do win that, as you being the person who went on day one to go vote.
Do I need to show my voting sticker that's sticking in my car?
You absolutely do.
On my
you
dashboard?
Absolutely. Why not?
Okay.
Yep.
All
you got to
right.
go exercise your vote.
Oh.
Exercise your vote. This is your voice, people. Get this. Y'all have an absolute choice. If y'all think I've been doing a horrible job, vote me out. If y'all think I've been doing a good job, vote me in. Back in. But exercise. You're right. That's the main important thing. You know what I mean? Who cares who you vote for? Just go vote. And because everybody's expecting a low turnout, which could be the case, but y'all could absolutely change that. Tell a friend, tell your neighbors that we are in voting season. Like, legit. Because some people just don't know, but would go vote if they knew. And that is strictly up to you if you can get them there. No matter who they vote for now. So just let them know or educate them that we are in your local, where it matters, municipal voting time of the year for districts 1, 3, 5, and 7 for the city of South Fulton that is 6 years old. You'll be surprised at how many people on your street will go vote if they knew. We try to reach everybody. Can't reach everybody though, but however, you can. So anyway, today's topic, did we get Mr. General Levitt was able to come on and join?
Yes, he came on the same time you came on.
Well, get this, without further ado, anybody has any trash or sanitation questions on pickups, missed pickups, KPIs, or anything else, the director, the man himself, the myth, the legend, Dr. Gordon Burkett. Sir, you have
I don't know what to say after all that. So, well, good evening, everybody. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Now, you in our award-winning call center,
yes.
sir?
Am I in the call center?
Are you in our award-winning call center, sir?
I'm in a facsimile of our call center. Let's just say that.
Okay, all right.
So I'm in my office.
I'm gonna mute myself and take me off mic so you can have the absolute attention of everybody.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Gordon Burkett. I'm the solid waste coordinator for the city of South Fulton. I'm glad to be here with you this evening. Thank you, Councilman, for sharing this platform with us. Our goal is always to make sure that, people are getting the information when they need it and how they need it. And whatever that information is, we're happy to provide it if it's available to us. I see one hand here already. I want to say before I start answering questions, that most things that we do right now are on our website, which you can get to through the QR code on top of your garbage can. There's also a phone number on there as well. If you want to talk to somebody, have a concern or need or request, if we do it or don't do it, it's, that's fine. As long as you're sharing that information with us, that helps us become better, and make sure that our services are attuned to what you're trying to accomplish at your home, or business. So with that, I see Miss Loretta's got her hand up.
Yes.
How can I help you, ma'am?
Good evening. So quick, I have two questions.
Okay.
I noticed on my tax bill that the invoice was transferred over to my tax bill when I got my tax bill. Was that supposed to happen, or what my understanding, it was supposed to be separate? So now I noticed on my tax bill when I looked at my mortgage that it's attached to my tax bill. Is that correct?
Well, so I want to make sure everyone's clear. So the vendor that we use to issue our billing and collect the bill on our behalf is the tax commissioner of Fulton County. So that's Dr. Ferdinand's office.
Mhm.
And it is on there. So one of the things that's come up this year, and some folks have called it double billing. But here's the thing. We didn't send the bill out to anyone's lender or escrow company. Neither did the tax commissioner's office. That information it's 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 public information, and what a lot of lenders do is, number one, this is their investment is that your house performs well, and if you decide to sell it, that you have the ability to do so. So when you close on those properties, on your property, they typically have you sign a requirement that allows the lender or escrow company to on your behalf to pay certain types of bills. And this is one of those, because we're going through the tax commissioner's office that gives them that ability to do that. So what they've done is gone out and taken a snapshot of accounts at a certain time period. And if that account was still, had a balance on it, they went ahead and paid that bill on your behalf. Of course, you pay it eventually. And we encourage people to reach out to their escrow company if that's what's happened, and if that's not something that you're interested in. And normally they'll work with you on that. It's the same with property taxes. It's the same way. So when your property tax changes, they have the ability to go out there and make that payment, and then they just include it in what they actually into 12 equal payments over a time period. So I hope I answered your question.
So my question would be, if you
Mhm.
already paid it, then once again, it'd be double billed, because most people already paid theirs already. So my question, were they
Mhm.
going to reimburse us for that check that we've already submitted? Or
Okay, so if you're looking for the reimbursement, the answer is yes.
Okay.
That would come from the tax commissioner's office, and it takes 2 to 4 weeks. So once those two payments are made, it automatically sends a refund check, and that check goes to the owner of record. It does not go back to the lender or anything like that.
Okay.
What we're encouraging people to do, though, is either sending that, well, I should say, for those people who are in the SWAP program or solid waste assistance program, if this has happened to them, we're encouraging them to send that check to their lender, and then, because eventually that will, you'll pay that up. It'll just be divided up over 12 equal payments. But our goal is to minimize, in general, the cost to provide this service. So we want to encourage people to do that if that's in their best interest. But yeah, you'll have the chance to do with it as you like, but that should take 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay, perfect. Okay, last question.
Okay.
We're still seeing other vendor trash cans around the actual district. What are we doing about that? Because we still have the same problem with these folks on the
Okay.
corner across from the fire station, still using the same using the same can, overflowing, and they're not emptying it out
This is
consistently.
fire station number 5.
Number 7.
Number
Right at the corner.
7. Okay, so number 7, I'm not familiar with 7.
That's Red Oak. Red
Okay.
Oak. I'm sorry. Old Bill. Which one is it? Old Bill Cook?
It's Old Bill Cook and Buffalo Road.
Thank you. Thank
Right.
you. Yes,
But-
right there.
Okay.
Let me chime in here, Mr. Loretta, if you don't mind. And so
Yeah.
we did find out on last week, Monday, when we had our taco giveaway, we had our call at the fire station number 7s, that the reason those trash cans are still there, because they're actually still being utilized as that's another situation that arose. It's an actual pad split. So we have multi people staying in that house. But that's another situation. So we did find that out last week. We're dealing with it, trying to figure out a method and the ways, but that is why those cans are still there and overflowing. They actually come pick them up though, but you have that situation that I just spoke of.
Okay, that's fine. I just don't want any rodents around my subdivision because of the consistent trash that we see all the time. And they're not consistently picking it up. Like this past Thursday, They did not empty out that trash. They did the one for South Fulton, but not that trash container.
Right. We have another one that wasn't emptied as well, and so along Buffington Road, but and we're on it.
Okay,
But
thanks. All right,
Yeah.
no problem.
All right. So I would say a couple things. So we spent the last month picking up well over 1,000 containers throughout the city. Those are the older containers. So that's your old GFLs, it's Fulton Sanitations, and a couple other vendors out there. We still will collect those if you have that issue. If for whatever reason your service has been missed, you can go to our website. Again, that's accessible through the QR code, and make that report. And the vendor has to come back out and service your container within 48 hours.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions tonight? Okay.
Hold on,
Is
now,
there gonna be a new,
as much as I get called about this sanitation, we have no questions. Hold on,
I know.
wait.
I was
Look at
getting
that.
nervous
Hold on.
there. I was thinking my microphone wasn't working.
They
Hey,
all on
all
that
I'm
door.
saying
That's
is
what it is.
the
No,
calls that we get on sanitation.
the questions all been answered. He came on at the right time because the
Oh.
problem was a few months ago or last month. So he came on at a good time. The questions have all been answered.
The
Okay.
questions
They
all
all
been-
on next door. Wait till tonight. They all on next door. They'll be
Oh.
chiming in on next door, asking every blasted question under the sun.
Well, look, okay, so to get those
I agree.
answers, you should just, go to our website. Our email address is up there. That attaches to both me and the call center, so you'll get an answer pretty quickly. Also, we're having another bulk item and recycle event on October 28th from 9 to 1 p.m. and we're doing paper shredding there as well. It's going to be at Merck Miles Citizens Convenience Center. And also, I'm prayerful about this, but I'm very much looking forward to Merck Miles reopening. We're gonna make a presentation to Mr. Reeves here and some other folks to confirm that that's what they want to do. But I'm very pleased about the direction that we're going into, and our goal there is to increase our recycling opportunities throughout the city, and also make it a place that we can do some better things there going forward. A more friendly environment, I would like to say. At the end of the day, I see another hand raised up here. There's another
Before you
question.
do, can you say one more time about the next trash day, bulk trash
The-
day?
Okay, there should be a notice up on the website. I'm not sure if it's up there yet or not, but it's October 28th, which is Saturday, from 9 to 1 p.m. It'll be at the Merck Miles Citizens Convenience Center, which is conveniently located at 3225 Merck Road in the beautiful city of South Fulton, Georgia, next to Wolf Creek Amphitheater. We'll be doing a bulk item collections as we always do, and recycling, and we'll be doing sensitive document paper shredding there as well. And the vendor will be on site, so you can watch them destroy your old tax records and other things that may have sensitive information like social security numbers or other things that you don't want other people to get a chance to see. But you'll get a chance to see them destroy those documents right there.
Absolutely. So let me just say something else to this date as well, if y'all don't mind. October the 28th. And that is also our Ride for Clean Air event from economic development to Burdette Field. And then we're having a Blue Pumpkin, that's from 9 to 10:30. And then from 10:30 to 11:30, 12, we're having a Blue Pumpkin carving that's out at Burdette Field as well. And that's the same time as this recycling event from 9 to 1. So if you can make one or don't make the other, because we do want both items to go out, but there's going to be a line. And so, Mr. Burkett, what is your ETA or the estimated time of if somebody gets there, we know it's from 9 to 1, but say somebody gets there around 10:30, 11, what will be the time, or even at 10, what will be the time that you think that they will be waiting in line? Because that is a factor when you go. So you want to make the most of your one trip.
Well, I would say first I'm making a note so that I can attend both events myself. So I'm going to slip away from the event on the 28th to come to your event on at Burdette Park. But I would say typically, I mean, even if we have a crowd in there, we typically run folks in and out of there pretty quickly. It's usually about it takes us I could say how many cars we're putting out at a time. It's usually about 1 car a minute, so that's 60 cars an hour we can get through there. So normally, we normally get a little crunch at the end. I would say, our gates will close at 1 o'clock. Just be cognizant of that. We try to be as accommodating as possible. Even if you get there a minute or two after, I'm not gonna say much more than that. We'll make sure you get accommodated. But again, our goal is, it's a public good. So we normally are there a little later than we say we're going to be there, but don't count on too much more than that. But we'll definitely be there for you. And the process is very simple. We've got a lot of space to move around, which is one of the reasons why we like Merc Miles. So that makes things efficient and effective. And if you're just doing one thing, you can just go to that one line. So a lot of people are just going to go there for paper shredding. That's fine. We'll just have a single line for that. A lot of people bring in bulk items. It'll be a single line. So I don't know how much more I can say than that, but we'll make sure to we'll do our best to accommodate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for those who want to take full advantage of this, please, but Mr. Burkett, let me ask you this: is it possible that because I know people pull up and they be like, "Hey, well, I was the last car. I was the last car." Is it possible that a city vehicle could be the last vehicle, so when people pull up, they know that that was the last car and it's being serviced, so they don't just sit in line and wait and then get there and be like,
Yeah, well, normally we have someone sit at the gate once we close it to just make sure people, don't sit there, because I understand that as well. We again, we're here to make, the public um have an opportunity to do these things in a constructive way. So we want to do that to as many people as we can. But we want the experience for everyone to be a good one. So we typically have someone there to let people know that we're closed, and if there are any other options of what they can do, and normally information for our next event as well.
okay, well, because the reason I'm saying is because somebody's going to come and they're going to be like, I was in line at 5 minutes to 1, and when I got up there, they said that they wanted. So I'm just making sure if there is a line out in the street, that the last vehicle would be known that that's the last vehicle.
Well,
How
the way we got it set up, we're actually going to use and this is inside baseball, so forgive me, but we're going to use the middle entrance, which is between Merck and Wolf Creek Amphitheater. We'll bring cars in that way, and that way we'll have enough queue space, because we're going to be bringing them in the back side of Merck Miles. But by doing that, once it hits 1 o'clock, if we'll still have someone at that gate, but we won't be backing cars up onto Merck Road.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
So I hope
I hope that
everybody
answered your question. Yeah.
Everybody clear mud on that.
I hope we're clearer than that. There should be a flyer on our website. I was going to go up here and check to see if they put it up here yet or not. But if it's not up there today, it'll be up there in the morning. It looks like it's not up there yet. So I would say look up there in the morning. You'll see the flyer.
Good deal. Good deal. Now,
I'm sorry.
Yes. So my question to you, Mr. Burkett, I wanted to inquire about sustainability initiatives that your department is implementing.
Okay.
And if there are composting sites within the city of South Fulton. I am a sustainability ambassador, and that's the
Okay.
for the question that I'm asking. I am
So-
also a farmer.
Okay. I love all those things. Sustainability is a very large word, and it depends. I mean, it's actually a very large category of items. You have something specific?
Regarding, since you're in sanitation,
Mhm.
I'm saying that regarding trash and how trash is recycled. What
Okay.
recycling plans do you have in that the city is, that your department is utilizing and making it easy for those of us within the city of South Fulton whom want to recycle, have the opportunity to do so. And again, my question was also about composting sites, whether there are composting sites within the city of South Fulton.
Okay. I appreciate the question. When I talk about sustainability, I really talk about the three-legged stool, so to speak, and that's reduce, which is the reduction of use of material, the repurposing or reuse of things that we've already created, and then the third is recycling. In this conversation today, when we went out to look for another vendor for Merck Miles, one of the things that we wanted to accomplish there was to expand our recycling program, the materials that we're collecting there. And that should be the case when we reopen. We'll include plastics 1 through 7. We'll be adding glass as well as automotive automotive liquids, and paper, plastic, cardboard, all the typical materials that you'd find in your single stream program, we'll be doing there at no charge. We're still some of you probably have heard me talk about, an additional location. We are still looking for an additional location to do recycle only. And that most likely will be in the Old National Highway corridor. That is the next project that we're taking on after we reopen Merck Miles. This has been a pretty big year for us. We've done the garbage program changeover, and we've been doing a number of events, probably about I would say probably 15 events here this year. By the time we end this year, and the reopening of Merck, and last but not least, an additional recycling location. So those are the things. I do not have, and I'd love to talk to you about doing composting. I think that's an awesome thing to do. And we're always looking for partners. And I'd be happy to talk to you offline about those opportunities.
That would be awesome. Thank you so much. Could you leave what's the best way to contact you? Don't say call. I'm gonna leave it at that. Don't say call.
I
But
talk to people on the phone.
what's the best way to get in
So
contact with you?
if you use our email address, it's on the website, the sanitation at City of South Fulton. I check that one as well as my staff, and you can just say that we spoke on this call, and they'll make sure that we connect. That's the easiest way to do it.
Okay, awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, thank you. I see one more hand. Ms.
Jane
Williams,
Williams. Yes. Hello, sir. Thank you for coming tonight.
good to see you again.
Yes, sir. You too. So, Chandra is not the only one who's an environmentalist, recycle, sustainability person. So I think we all, well, I know I would like to know more about the compost, because almost in every city now that you go to, I know in the cab, they have where you can go and if you have property, or if you live in the cab, you can go and get different types of compost over there. They have like different bins that you can go to. You can take a truck and you can load it up. And in many different other cities that you go to, they're like that. So I would like to see something like that for City of South Fulton as well. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm I'm very enthusiastic about those things.
Mhm.
And I'm happy for us to start some things here.
Right.
I used to run the program in DeKalb. I'm very familiar with the composting program over there. Uh, and I'd love to do some things like that for us over here as well. So, again, it's time and priorities and making sure that we have an opportunity to do these things, and find some places to do it.
Right. Right.
And I'm happy to help move those things forward. And we would like to have a more comprehensive program as it relates to those three things that I talked about earlier, because those are the two most effective, to be honest, are the reduction of using the materials. And the city of South Fulton has done a lot with eliminating single-use plastics. I believe we can do some more in that category, that will be very effective. And then reusing things is just simple, finding existing materials or things that people are throwing away that are going to the landfill and diverting them. Those are categories that I would like us to grow in as well. So I'm happy
Okay.
again to reach out. If you would like to talk about those things, please reach out to me, and we'll make sure that we move that forward.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know it takes time for things, so just want to get it in the minds
Well,
of.
sometimes it's just we got to just do it sometimes too.
That's
See,
it.
that's the
Yeah.
other side of the coin.
Mhm.
And I've been looking for a facility, a location to do some stuff, and I've been talking to your councilman as well, about that. And once we get that spot, we can do a lot of different things. But we got to get that first step in, and then everything else behind it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're
So,
welcome.
Mr. Burkett, I guess it sounds as if me and Jane need to have a formal
Sounds like a winner.
conversation. So I look forward to that. And Jane, thank you
Yes.
for going into detail
Yes,
regarding the composting. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you too.
All right.
Okay.
Mr. Burkett,
Yes.
is this a part of the Green 2023 program? I heard about that program at one of the council meetings. I was wondering, is that a part of that, or?
I don't. I'm not. The Green 2023. I'm going to say no. I'm not sure if I've done anything with any branding like that. It's was it a specific program involved? Maybe I'm familiar with that.
Not really sure, but I heard it was mentioned by another council member. But
Okay.
I was wondering, is that are these things you're doing? Is that included in that? Because she had also mentioned that it was on the shelf and it has dust on it and they needed to get rolling on it. So I was just wondering, is this a part of it?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, but you may be right. I don't know, but I'm going to say no from my perspective.
Okay.
Here's the thing about life. A lot of times we're doing things already, but we're doing them piecemeal. I think it's good to brand stuff, and connect the dots, and then we're better because we can then share that information with other people and show it in the impact of it. But right now, pretty much the stuff that we've been doing thus far anyway is is pretty much standalone, but it needs to be comprehensive. I agree.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Burkett, let me ask you a question, because this also comes in and says that, on trash days that the vendors sometimes leave trash in the streets and things of that nature. And what are we doing to address that? But on the main thoroughways, can you, and this might not be under your preview, the street sweepers, can you let the general pop know that when those are deployed and how, if they go in their community to be swept, what do they need to do?
So, right now our program focuses on the 600 miles of basically non-neighborhood streets. So, in your neighborhood, obviously that would be Flat Shoals, and we're weekly on Old National Highway, Most of the roads in our system we do every 2 weeks. And you know, again, we can go up to weekly depending on the volume of trash and other material that gets in the curb and gutter. And again, the roads that we do focus on have to have curb and gutter. There is somewhat of movement for us to expand the program. And again, that's really, that's a budgetary decision. So there's really, that's something we're always looking at doing. But again, our focus right now is really those main streets and thoroughfares, the collectors and up, to make sure that, when it rains, that water doesn't pool on the road, but also, to get up any trash and leaves and debris. So this is we're getting ready to run into our big peak time of the year, because most of what we pull up at this point is our leaves. So we've gotten to a point, in our system that we're doing pretty good as it relates to the collection of trash. I mean, it's still trash being generated. It goes out into the street, but it's much better than it was when we weren't doing street sweeping. I don't know if I answered any questions there. There is a schedule on the website, on the Public Works website. We'll let you know which streets that are included. Again, it's 600 miles of road within the city of South Fulton that's on our list. That's either done every 2 weeks. Most of the roads we do every 2 to 4 weeks, I should say, with a couple of exceptions. Like I said, Old National Highway is one that we do weekly.
Okay, thank you. And then these do not go into the actual neighborhoods. These are on the main surface streets.
We do not go into subdivisions. That's pretty much the rule. Yep. At this point.
Correct. So let me just ask the question, because these are the questions I get hit with. Nobody's speaking today. So let me just say this.
Okay.
Is there some period of time or point of time that the street sweeping will be going into communities?
I think it's that, again, that's not up to us. I mean, logistically, it's a much more of a challenge to go into subdivisions. We have a lot of cars that are parked on the street and other things, and especially this time of year, it's kind of difficult with leaves and the like. So, but again, we will do what we're directed to do. So that is something that's always under consideration.
Okay. And so
I got a question.
go ahead.
So on that note, what Corey's saying,
Yes.
our subdivision's been around for quite some time, and we
Mhm.
noticed that those leaves and that debris is actually accumulating in our sewage areas. So one point in time, I'm with Corey. When are we going to have someone to make sure that that debris and those leaves are not getting accumulated down in there? And I suggest, Gordon, if you guys put up no parking on certain days where you guys can clean the roads like they do up north, to make people not to park on the street when you're doing street cleaning on those days. I think that would be, and have it mandated there is not to be, not to park on those. You can get that done. That's an easy fix. Put no parking on certain days for street cleaning. That will help out tremendously.
I would say yes and no. So, I focus more on the solid waste side of what we do at this point, and our number one challenge right now is on street parking. To be very honest with you, so every week. I get several notices that where we have to go in and either ticket or tow cars because there's not enough space for the garbage truck to go down the street. And that's something that we're continuing to be challenged with every day. So, and it's the same issue or concern for street sweeping. So that's the piece that you have to calculate in there to any service model. It seems a lot easier than it is, I have to say, but it's something that we are continuing to work through. One of the things that we do to help with that is, and I don't know if this is your subdivision or not, but we've been posting no parking signs all over the city for these same reasons. So it is something that we're working through. Maybe since we're working through it on the solid waste side, it'll make it easier for us to do anything else if that's what we do going forward.
I mean, but ideally, if you, by law, if it says don't park there at a certain time and you get told a ticket, then I think that's the only way people are gonna learn. You have to enforce the law. I'm gonna be honest with you. And if you don't enforce it,
Yep.
people are gonna act like it doesn't apply. So if you go ahead and post, that's the most inexpensive way. Just post no parking on those days. I promise you, people who don't want a ticket or don't want their car towed at their expense, it'll get done. It's going to be the easiest way. You sometimes just got to pull the band-aid off and make people understand you have to follow the rules.
Oh,
Well-
absolutely. And I'm just gonna say
I
this.
agree.
This is
So-
not the purview within his scope of work and what
I
he
get
does
you.
as director. But let me just say this, but here is what is in the purview is if communities, if y'all have cars, if there are cars parked on the street and the driver of the vehicle cannot get to your garbage, he's just going to go to the next driveway or the next accessible Herbie Kirby. And so that's the issue where it will come in is if people have on the street parking and their can is being blocked or obstructed by a vehicle, then you, Mr. Gordon, you could answer that. But to my knowledge, the driver's just going to go to the next accessible Herbie Kirby.
This is our protocol. So when that occurs, when they're not able to access a neighborhood, because that means generally we're going to get complaints. They report that information to us in advance, and then I make a phone call typically to the police department or someone on my staff, or the sign people will make that phone call to then have a police car go out and then either ticket or tow the cars out there. So the last occurrence of that was Friday. I didn't receive any calls like that today, but in the average week, we probably have we do that 3 to 5 times a week.
So do the drivers real time snap evidence? So with their smartphones, are they taking a picture of the vehicle parked illegally and then taking a picture of the license plate and even the VIN number? Because are they doing that real time? So or is it a case of the drivers complaining, but then when you address the matter and police potentially comes out, there is no incident?
Mhm.
So what our process is, number one, I would say this, each one of those garbage trucks services about 1,200 houses per day. So they don't spend a whole lot of time with the detail stuff. What they do though, real time, is they'll send us a photo and a location of where they are not able to access, a home or homes. And they'll send that to us, or they'll send it or they'll make a phone call or send a text, depends on who it is. And then we'll make those contacts as I outlined earlier. So, but that's our typical process. And that's, like I said, it's real time. The challenge again, because we have to come back out again, once those cars are moved. So, I mean, ideally it doesn't happen at all. It's a real challenge on keeping a schedule when this happens, and it is fairly frequent. But our process is pretty straightforward, and it's pretty close to the time that they're actually out there and they're unable to get to that next house.
So sorry, Karen. So this Loretta, we have an issue, my subdivision, with that issue. Let me understand this right. As long as the trash comes around, the actual person comes around and as long as they're able to empty out that trash, flip it over and put it back, and that's the car that's parked on the street is not impeding them from that. So where they put the trash can is not the issue. As long as they're able to have access to it, the person that's parked on the street is not breaking the law. Am I understanding that right?
So the can placement has been a challenge too. So I hope everybody's received that the mailer that we sent out in the last 2 to 3 weeks. It dealt with the placement of the container, because it should not be in the street. It should be on the curb or outside of the roadway itself.
Okay.
But typically, what the issue is the width between vehicles. So
Right.
I'm driving into your cul-de-sac, and there's a car on my left and there's a car on my right,
Okay.
and I've got to go between these cars. A garbage truck is typically it's a little under 12 feet wide. Okay. Average road is 18 to 20 feet wide, depending on where you are in the city, in the neighborhood. And the more narrow streets, the tougher that job is. And, parking on both sides of the road becomes quite precarious for our operation. So that's, like I said, we spend a lot of time. I can't tell you how many no parking signs we put up this year, but I can tell you it's been a lot.
So please add me to that list. Please add our subdivision to that list. It's Buffington Park subdivision, because that is a big
right.
one. Please, I will appreciate it.
Buffington, I know you're okay. So you're right off of. I know exactly where you are.
Yes, we have that. That's the big.
Okay.
And the thing is, I'm trying to help you out because you keep getting click and fix from one of my members who don't understand that the neighbor is not really breaking the law. But only way we're going to keep forgetting that her from putting that, she puts it in every single week. And I keep trying to tell her he's not breaking the law. But if you just go ahead and put the no parking, and we'll just eliminate that, because I feel bad that you guys getting that same issue with her and she does not want to hear it. So if you help me out by please putting parking tickets says out, that will definitely, and then I can shut that down.
I'll put a request into our sign people. They sit on the other side of where I'm sitting right now.
Yes.
And I'll ask them to go out, and they normally make an assessment. So council last year passed an ordinance, and I think this might apply to your neighborhood. If there's any street with the width is less than 18 feet, is 18 feet or less, that there's no parking on either side of the road.
Well, that's great, because that means I will have to change. Our bylaws is going to have to change, because right now they can, but if you guys do that, so no parking, that's even better.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I will do that. I'll do
Sorry,
that.
guys. Sorry.
No,
And
no problem.
I'm sorry.
Your tape measure, make sure it's 18 feet now.
You know what? And I agree. But unfortunately, I don't have a problem. I have a long driveway where I don't need 50 cars in there. It's the people who just don't want to, abide by the rules. And unfortunately, like Gordon said, you've seen our subdivision. There's no way why our emergency service can't get through, our buses can't get through because of this issue. And it shouldn't be that way. So if you guys just help us doing that, we will greatly appreciate it.
And we will greatly appreciate it as well.
Like I said, we just have to change the bylaws. You can no longer park, because that's first thing we'll say. Our bylaws say we can, but once the city ordinance goes out, that just changes our bylaws. So thanks.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay. I see another hand up. Jasmine Taylor.
Hello. I recently purchased a house.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you. I actually just met Corey this weekend. I may have missed it. I apologize for joining late. I was actually in class. Are there any plans on a recycling program? Myself and then another woman on my block recently bought a house too, and we've been having trouble getting rid of our moving boxes, but just here it's just weird coming from Fulton County, city of Atlanta, and there's no recycling. Well,
I think this is a good question. So currently the market I've been doing recycling for probably, I don't know, probably the last 15 years. And the market is really, because it's a two-pronged market. So there's, folks like ourselves, consumers who are consuming materials and putting them in containers to be recycled, and then there's the actual place where the materials are being recycled, and that's what's called a spot market. And that's what really determines the viability of the program. Unfortunately, right now the pricing for most recycling is very unfavorable to us. And it makes it very expensive. In fact, to be very honest, it's more of a value judgment than an economic one at this point. It is something that we believe in, so we put resources towards it. And in that manner, our current approach is going to be, once we reopen Merck Miles Citizens Convenience Center, is actually to expand recycling at that location. And now it's not what you call curbside recycling. it is still single stream, so most of the materials are still in the same container. But it will be at a physical location. There's no charge or anything like that to bring it to that location. And we'll be, again, looking for a second location in the old National Highway corridor here that we've been continuing to do some research on as well. That'll be our main option for recycling. But I would also say there are some other smaller choices that you can do as well. Publix is one of my favorite companies because they offer recycle bins at all their grocery stores that the general public can use as well. It's not as large of a scale, but those are places that we typically go during the week. So when you go there, you can take the material there. I would say one of the big reasons that we didn't offer recycling, and if you've moved from the city of Atlanta, you're probably well aware of this, is the price to do all those things. So the average resident or homeowner in the city of Atlanta pays almost $500 a year for their garbage and recycling program. In our program, one of the number one thing that we were told is to make sure that we were being very price conscious about the decisions that we made. So we did ask for a recycling option from all our vendors that are prospective vendors when we went through that process. But again, that was doubling the price that we were going to have to charge you, the consumer. So that was something that it was a very difficult decision to make, but it was something that we left out of our existing program. It is something that we continue to look at additional options to do, and our goal would be to do, what's called, again, curbside collection, when this is where we picked it up at your home. But unfortunately, right now, that is it is not very cost effective. So,
And I apologize. I led with the solution instead of the problem. The
okay.
problem that needs solving are big boxes. So like moving boxes, or if you bring something home. And so they're hard to dispose of because you can't just order a second bin to put them in because they won't fit. And so that's truly what the problem is. And bulky item pickup doesn't take the corrugated paper.
We will take it at our event. Like I said, well, that's right. You said you joined us late. So we're having an
I've
event.
gone to 2 so far.
Have you gone to 2 of the events, the bulky item collections? Is that what you're saying?
Where
Okay.
so I dropped it off. I've gone to 2 so far. Still unpacking. I know both of us are unpacking. She didn't believe me when she kept setting her stuff on the curb. I'm like, girl, they're not gonna take it. It's not even a human that's gonna come out.
So we're having our next bulk collection event, and paper shredding is going to be there as well. That'll be on October 28th. It'll be at Merck Miles Citizens Convenience Center, and the councilman will tell you he's going to have a very nice event the same day at the same time. So if you do one, you should do both of them. It'll be 9 to 1 at Merck Miles, and again, no charge for those materials. And you can bring those old tax documents and things like that, and we'll shred and recycle those as well.
Okay. I'm digital, but I have boxes, and boxes attract roaches, and I don't want roaches. So
I don't either.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Jane Williams.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so to the young lady, now I know this is crossing over another city, but I do take my boxes over and my recycling at this point to College Park. Over.
I won't tell anybody.
Okay, don't y'all tell nobody, okay? But so that is an option though. And I mean, they do a pretty good job with accepting, probably not a whole nother city, but you know what I mean. If it's just those boxes for them, for such a time as this.
Thank you for that advice.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I see one more hand up there. Glenda Collins.
Yes.
Good evening. I think you're on mute.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I also take my recyclables to College Park as well. But my
I won't tell
question is,
anybody.
well, as long as they don't catch me, I'm good. But my question is, when we carry our recyclables along with the other items that we have to dispose of, the vendor does not separate them.
Mhm.
Did you know that?
I would say that the vendor does not separate them on site. So, uh, Pratt Industries, which is the largest recycling company, I think probably well, definitely in the United States. They have what's called, they operate what's called a single stream program. So we put all the materials in one container, and you could actually go out to they're actually based in Georgia. Their main recycling location is actually in Conyers. And you can go there and they have what's called, it's basically, they call it air disturbance technology, where they use different stimulus to separate the materials. So they have magnets to pull the metal out. They have air, they push air onto the conveyor belt to remove lighter materials like paper. And then they also have human beings out there for the things that they cannot separate, to pull them off of the conveyor belt, and they put them in these containers, depending on the material, and that's how they separate the materials out. So
Okay, so
so
when we
that's why
see,
you don't have to separate them before you put them in your container.
okay, so when we see them all going in the trash truck at the same time, we should not be concerned because they do separate these items.
I would say, when we do our events, because I'm very sensitive about recycling activities. Again, as I mentioned earlier, pricing for garbage and recycling are pretty much the same at this point. So it's a value judgment, it's a choice that we make, and it's a commitment that we have to do these things. So some folks that are less scrupulous than us may not necessarily take those things to be recycled. Now, we have a relationship with Pratt Industries that recycles that material, and they're known, throughout the world. They make all the boxes. So if you ever go to Home Depot or order something from Amazon, I know no one on this call does that. Those boxes are 100% recycled, and they're made at this facility in Conyers, out of 100% reconstituted material. And that's what our objective too. So that's why we support that process, because the stuff is reusable.
So do you spell that Pratt, Pratt?
Pratt, yes. And their owner has been on the news for some other things that we won't talk about tonight, but they do some good stuff too. And that one of those things is to make recycled materials, use recycled materials that have already been used into new things.
Well, thank you for that information. It does make me feel a little more comfortable.
Okay, and
after
Pratt
seeing
does
everything going in one container together.
Yeah, so yes. Pratt does offer tours too. So if you'd ever want to go out there and put on a hard hat, they offer that to the general public as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anybody else? I'm here.
Do we have anybody else? All right, now everybody who called in about sanitation, now get this. This is Dr. Borkett who get this. He legit came on, and so we have the subject matter expert. So going once, going twice. Because when you call me, email me, I take your emails, your calls, and I forward it to who? This man right here, who is in our call center, which that's the center that you get when you do call. I see one more hand up. Whose hand is this?
Miss Collins still has her hand up.
All right,
You
Ms.
got
Collins,
any
you
more
done?
questions for us? All right.
Well, Mr. Burkett, I'm going to say, and it is 7:32. And listen here, I thank you for joining. I really appreciate you coming on the call. I know the constituents appreciate you coming on the call. And let me just say this. So you said something earlier. Said something for me and my colleagues would have. So, ladies and gentlemen, do y'all want to raise Cycling Center over here on the Highway 279 corridor? ladies and gentlemen, on this call,
What did you say?
y'all wish to have a recycling center or somewhere on the Highway 279 corridor. That's Old National Highway, Flat Shoals, that area.
Yes.
That would be
Oh,
great.
yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
So, Mr.
Yes.
Burkett,
Yes.
that answers your question, sir. It's not.
Well,
It's
I
not
already
what
know what the
want.
answer
It's
is.
not. It's not what I want. It's what the constituents want. And we've been talking about this for quite some time, and we do have space and opportunity. And so, look here, I think we can go ahead and start moving in that direction.
I'm happy to give you my short list offline because I think there's some opportunities. We're making it happen over here. So all we need is to be accommodated in some of these other great things that are going on in the city of South Fulton, and we'll partner up with anybody that that gives us an opportunity to do so.
So well said, sir. Well said.
Partnerships make it work. You know that.
Right. But I'm gonna give you a call. I'm not
right.
gonna tell you tonight. I'll wait till tomorrow, sir. Go enjoy your family.
Will do. It's always a blessing to participate on your call. So I thank you. And anytime you guys want to hear from me or some things, let the councilman know, let those folks, and I'm happy to participate however I can.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right. Gentlemen, y'all have heard from the subject matter expert himself, and that is going to conclude our call today. And so we will see y'all next
I have
Monday.
a couple announcements.
Right. And so Tamiko does have a couple of announcements to general. And tomorrow, I do plan on seeing some people tomorrow at the library from 2:30 to 4 o'clock. But Tamiko, you have the floor. Go ahead.
And that was the first announcement that I was gonna make, is that we are gonna have Taco Tuesday tomorrow at the Flat Shoals Library. So come out between 2:30 and 4. We have a food truck that will be preparing them. Has anybody been looking at the newsletters that we've sent out? Georgia is opening up the Section 8 voucher program tomorrow
Very good.
at midnight. So I don't know if that's midnight tonight, and they're closing it on the 20th at 11:59. So you got 2-3 days to get into this program, and they haven't opened it since 2021. So if you know someone who wants to apply, go back and check the newsletter, because I put it in the newsletter, in the link for the criteria and the application. We also, for those who wanted to do small developers, there was an investment class coming for you. Those of you who did not get your student loans waived when we did the program last year, there is a new program that is out called the SAVE program, Saving on a Valuable Education Plan. This plan is part of the income repayment plan, but what it is including, if you have been 20 years since you finished undergrad, or 25 since grad, they are forgiving those balances. So if you have not applied for the SAVE program, you need to do that. If you are aware of someone between the ages of 18 and 24 that may be homeless, please send them to email Facts to Thrive at info@factstothrive.org, or they can go to the link on the flyer and fill out the application for assistance. We have a Foodscape program coming up this coming Monday, and that is a class with Mike McCord on using your vegetables and fruits to landscape your yard. And so that is this coming Monday. So he'll be outside at that event over at Fairwood Farms at 6 p.m. So those of you who know where Fairwood Farms is, come on over to see that. There also was an employee retention tax credit program happening tomorrow at 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. with economic development. A lot of people who may be eligible for that did not apply for it, and they are trying to get it out. This coming Saturday, I believe, is third Saturday. So we have the farmers market happening in front of economic development between 10 to 2. We have I'll give next week events next week. But look at your newsletter because there's several events happening. Oh, I had a neighbor call and say that they got a bill from the police about not registering their alarm system. I have kept that on the newsletter. And so for those of you who have not registered your alarm system with the police to be aware of the false alarms, I suggest you do, because I have gotten calls from residents that the police have billed them and sent them a fine. So make sure you are registered. There is programs for senior services, and the next class for trade school is going to be starting in a couple weeks, and it's going to be for goodness, what is it going to be for? Low voltage. And low voltage is more like data installation, like Wi-Fi kind of stuff. So if that is something that you want to learn, fill out an application over at Burdette Gym so that they can follow up with you and get ready to come for the next 6 weeks. I think that's everything under the sun today, even though it's night. I think I cleared the list.
One more thing.
If there's any HOAs that the councilman has not come to your meeting, please email me and let me know so I can schedule him to come to your HOA meeting. And then that's it, Councilman Reeves. I'm sorry.
No, one more thing. And to everybody who's on the call, I need you to put your phones on speaker, or put your phone against your ear, spread your two hands apart, and let's give Chandra Simmons a round of applause for completing her 501(c). She is the newest nonprofit member of the community.
Yay!
Okay, congratulations.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.
Do you want anything to say, Chandra? You have the floor.
I wanna say thank you to not only you, Councilman, for the words of encouragement, but to Miko, you have absolutely been a blessing, and I'm not saying that or taking your services lightly. You have truly been a blessing to me with just walking me through the process, and also letting me know, hey, this is something you want. Put in the sweat equity and it will come. And I'll be dang, it has happened quicker than I anticipated. And 2023 has been a fantastic year for me. And I look forward to many opportunities in the future for the accomplishments of Rooted Affirmations. City of South Fulton, it's time for us to truly come together and do something about the food desert that we live in. There are many of us, a few of us on this call, names that I recognize that are farmers growing food. We may not all be at the farmers market. I'm speaking for myself, but I am actively growing and actively serving. And yeah, to those of you who have the desire to learn how to grow, and not only grow, but grow sustainably, because if you are putting healthy, whole food. If you are growing healthy whole food, you want to eat healthy whole food. That healthy food that you're eating is absolutely going to be beneficial to your body. So it's not always about growing the masses. You start off with a little bit and expand as you can, or support those of us within your immediate surroundings or within the community whom are doing so. So thank you guys so very much.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:43, and we're going to go ahead and end this call. Going to stay a few minutes after the after call, and so just remember, I love you. You can't do nothing about it. Keep South Fulton in your mindset forefront, because we are making a change and we are making a difference, and we are impacting lives. And so, thank you to all, and I hope to see all of you out somewhere and sometime this week on location tomorrow from 2:30 to 4 o'clock. We're at the library in honor of National Heritage Month, and we're going to be giving out tacos. $2 tacos on Tuesday, but to you it's free. So I hope to see you tomorrow. And with that, we bid a good night.